Lockhart Perspective.
Well, hello and good morning, and thank goodness for Ronnie.d.Mann, because he called me to say, hey, what's going on? So, nonetheless, I am just going to get right into it because I know that most of you are possibly going to be watching this on the replay. We did shift shows, and I totally forgot that we had this one this morning because I moved it from last evening to today. But with that said, we're going to start looking at some of the things that they're doing to normalize the sin and to normalize Satanism and to normalize all of the things that are going on right now in our world. And I just want to tell you that it is not as, dark and nefarious as we once thought. Once upon a time, we really thought that it was just, in spooky movies, that it was, what happened was Ronnie.d.Mann says. Thank you. Mark Schumann is probably gone. Maureen is probably gone. I know if Amy was here, she had already gotten her some coffee. So nonetheless, but listen, I think a lot of times when we're thinking about, this dark, nefarious stuff, we're thinking about things that just do not attach themselves to us in any way because we don't go those places. We don't do those things. We don't watch those shows. We don't allow those items in our home. But there are so many things that are going on right now. Hey, Amy and Rachel and William Craig, I love you guys. But here's the thing. Right now, they are really normalizing it. I'm going to just show you guys some of the stuff that is, what's happening right now and why it's really important that we have this conversation for such a time as this. The reason why is because it's not like it used to be. Back in the day, I remember when my kids were playing with those Pokemon cards and all of that stuff. And I remember at that time, some of the people at the church that I was a part of, they were saying things like, don't let your kids play with this or don't let your kids play with those cards or that. But this right here takes it to a totally different level. And I want you to see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm pulling up all of the stuff as we speak. But so I guess what I'll do is I'll take it a moment or a frame at a time, as it were. And let me just show you what I'm saying about making it normal. All right? Making it normal. Look at this. Do you know what those are? Let me make it a little larger, just in case you can't see it. But do you know who this is? Do you know what that is? You see that? I mean, somebody would say, well, it's just a plush animal. Somebody would say, well, it's just a toy. Somebody would say, let the kids be. Let them have their toys. Don't take stuff away from them. You know, they're just babies. It's just a toy. But these are actual plushy Baphomet toys. So this is a Baphomet goat goth plush toy. This one is. Okay? And I know people would say, well, it's just a toy. But is it just a toy? Is it just a toy? And do they become more grotesque? Do they become a little unattractive as they go on? Like, say, this one. This one even has the pentagram here, and he's got a little potion here. He's got his double set of horns here. Is it just a toy? Is it totally okay? I mean, is it? Yeah, I don't know. You let me know what you think. But it is normalizing this stuff, and it's beyond just standard, stuff. It's not just, you can get it off of Etsy, or you can get it off of here, you can get it off of there. You can just pull up your own Amazon account and you'll find pages and pages and pages and pages normalizing this. Look at his hoof feet. Panism. Pan. the horns, the ram, or whatever, the goat. Look at the dual snakes in the gut. So it's not just, for the kooky movies anymore. It's not just for the kooky. Oh, and if you don't want that dark one, you may as well get a light one. You may as well get a light one. Yeah. I mean, I guess their argument would be, well, some people have a cross. And here's the deal with that. You ain't even supposed to be having that cross. You're not even supposed to rock the cross. But this is the argument that they could use. Yeah. Yep. Some would say, what do you mean you can't have the cross? Well, isn't the cross, like a symbol? I mean, isn't that like fashioning something? I mean, I don't think it's any different than the little bitty angels that people craft. I remember I threw all of mine away. I had a bunch of little angels. I used to collect little things. I thought they were so cool until my eyes were opened and I was like, yo, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to fashion anything at all. Even if it's something that I had pictures with little fat little cherubs, little fat angels. So if you look at this, then isn't it the same thing? But now it's readily available. And while you were doing whatever you were doing and I was doing whatever I was doing, they were doing this. They were doing this. And I remember a lot of people being a little frustrated with parents and other people for saying, you know what, don't talk about that stuff. Let's just leave that alone. And now all of a sudden they actually have clubs. They have clubs, and they're not just clubs that, you can go to. No. This isn't about adults. That's why that was that little plushie toy that you just got through seeing a few minutes ago. So no, it's not about adults. It's about your children. It's about your kids. It's always about your kids. It's always about the younger generations. It's never about just you or me or, the old stogies, the unbendable tree. I mean, the majority of us don't want to let go of Christmas trees. So it's not about us because, well, we're not easily bent once we get up in age, right? Well, I want to show you where some of this stuff happened and how it happened and, how easy it sort of snuck in on us. Did it sneak in or did it sneak in? I don't think it snuck in like that. I think what happened was we sort of did not want to offend anybody. And I think that's the big problem. I think that's the deal. We didn't want to offend anybody while they were shoveling their garbage on us. And we just felt like as long as it's not in my household, I don't have to worry about it. But we forgot that the preponderance of our children, the majority of them went to public school systems or went to areas or things of that nature where they dealt with just regular folks who, wanted to live the way they want to live. And because we've said in our minds, I don't want to tell people what to do. I'm just going to blend in and it's not my job to judge. Having that mindset is what caused us a really big riff. A huge riff. Hundreds gather for the unveiling of the Satanic statue in Detroit. The story was back in 2015. And some would say, wow, back then, that, I can only imagine what people said in 2015. Well, yeah, we know that's happening, but it's not going to happen. And we're not going to let it happen. And we're not going to do this or that. However, a little before midnight on Saturday, a crowd of around 700 gathered in an old industrial warehouse a few blocks from the Detroit River for what they'd been told was the largest public satanic ceremony in history. Most of them profess to be Satanists, I think is what, adherents of Satanism. That loosely organized squad of the occult that defines itself as a religious group. Well, they are a religious group, if you put them in that context. Others came simply because they were just curious. It says, quote, we're all Satanists. After all, Satanists exist in the popular psyche of those who casually sacrifice goats and impregnate Mia Farrow with Lucifer's child. Oh, that writer is not nice. He's talking about none other than, what was that? Rosemary's Baby? If this ceremony was indeed unprecedentedly big, who knew what could be in store? So this little story takes us into how they brought in Baphomet. I'm just going to go down here. I'll start here. The statue itself is impressive. They're talking about the statue that they brought in. Almost 9 feet tall and weighing in at around a ton. The horn idol sits on the throne adorned with a pentagram. But it is the idol's wings and not his chair that curiously evoke the Iron Throne from a certain celebrated HBO fantasy series. He has the jarring horns of a virile ram, but the biceps of a guy who lifts 4 or 5 times a week. His legs, which are crossed, end not in the feet, but hooves. They end in hooves. It might seem more menacing if not for the 2 bronze children. There are statue children that sit to the right and left of him. Standing on either side, a girl is on his left and a boy is on his right. Both are looking up at him earnestly. Now, quote, Baphomet contains binary elements symbolizing a reconciliation of opposites, emblematic of the willingness to embrace and even celebrate differences. This comes from Jex Blackmore, who organized the unveiling. He told The Times late Sunday night. In a sense, the statue is a stress test for America. That's exactly what it was at that time. For American plurality. At what point does religious freedom make the people uncomfortable? Okay, so somebody would say, well, that was then. That was 2015. That was 2015. You don't have anything else that, builds up the momentum and takes you to, the day that we're in now. Well, the satanic statue erected in Illinois state capitol after the holiday decorations, with other holiday decorations, this was in December of 2015. You need to catch it, see when they're doing it. Check it out. Yeah. See how they thread those holidays in together? See that? Hey, Angela Reed, Marty Lauderdale. Hey, what's up, Matrix? I'm back on this side and I see y'all. Amy, I got my coffee. All right, so let's check this out, you guys. I'm back on the other side now, so I can't see you. It says, quote, this holiday season, the Illinois state capitol is celebrating both Santa and Satan. A statue designed and funded by the Satanic Temple of Chicago is on display in the State House in Springfield, along with a Christmas tree nativity scene and a menorah. Can't make this up. You can't make it up. Sips coffee real slow. It goes on to say this: the resin sculpture, which the Satanic Temple has dubbed Snakeativity, depicts a hand holding an apple with a snake wrapped around it. The arm and the hand are 18 inches long, said Dave Drucker, the press secretary for the Illinois Secretary of State's office, which maintains the Capitol building. The figure rests on a 4-foot tall base that reads, quote, "Knowledge is the greatest gift." Y'all better check. Y'all better check it. When Chicago's Satanic Temple announced the design on Instagram last month, remember this is 2018, the group said they were bringing a message. This is a quote. "Bringing a message to the Illinois state capitol that religious freedom means freedom of representation for all religions, not just the ones that don't offend Christians." Close quote. The group launched a GoFundMe page with the goal of $1,500 to cover construction, transportation, and installation costs. They said, quote, "Please consider what you may do to help us bring Satan to Springfield," the page reads. And at that point of this publication, the group raised $1,700. It goes on to say that the Satanic Temple has chapters all over the country. According to their website, the goal of the group is to encourage benevolence and empathy among all people, reject tyrannical authority, advocate practical common sense and justice, and be directed by the human conscience to undertake noble pursuits guided by the individual will. Does that or does that not sound like a pamphlet for a recruitment of an organization of any kind? Do those words not sound like trigger words that would just seem to be safe and fluffy? Those are safe and fluffy words. Aren't these, they don't sound offensive. If you really be the son, then turn that rock into a piece of bread. Paraphrasing. But weren't those nice words? But we know who said them. You know, if you are his son, go ahead and jump off this, mountain. Go ahead and do it. And then quote the word back at him, Very soft, very subtle. Hey, why don't you just cheat a little? Everybody cheats a little. Just subtle, nice, because you're nice. Just very subtle. You're benevolent. You have empathy. They're using the words that they know people will associate with, and you know who they're going to catch in their snares, unfortunately? The children of the believers, because for whatever reason, the children or the believers themselves have not been in touch with the children. And so now the children will run right into these types of words because these are some of the words they've heard their parents use. But these individuals seem a little bit more intriguing. And so they want to go and see what's up with them because what they read here or what they read on the pamphlet seems like that's pretty nice. I mean, everybody would want to have that in their life, right? Everyone will want to reject tyrannical authority. Advocate practical common sense and justice. Everybody. But doesn't that sound a lot like the Georgia Guidestones? Advocate practical common sense and justice and all that stuff. But it's the believers' children that are going to fall by the wayside because of how we deal with our kids. So we have to be cognizant as we're raising the little ones as to how we treat them. And it isn't easy, but this is softening the ground because when you send them out, you're not there all the time, but all of the influences are. And if you put enough of the word in them, then you just might end out okay. But if there's one shred of something that they don't agree with what you've said, they're going to be intrigued by this stuff. They're going to start kicking the can down the road. So let's be cool about it, okay? Now that was in 2018, right? Yes. Well, Illinois District defends offering after-school Satan Club at an elementary. This was dated January 14th, 2022. An Illinois school district is defending an elementary school offering an after-school Satan program, an extracurricular educational program sponsored by the Satanic Temple of the United States. The program for children in grades 1st through 5th will be taught by volunteers at the Jane Addams Elementary School in Moline and will meet 5 times this year beginning Thursday, flyers circulating on social media claim. According to the flyer, the club will consist of science projects, puzzles, games, arts, and crafts, and outdoor nature activities. The club says that it will help children learn benevolence, empathy, critical thinking, problem solving, creative expression, where you at, parents, and personal sovereignty. OMG. I'm just going to I'm going to blow this up a little bit so that you can see this. Personal sovereignty. According to the flyer, the club will consist of science projects. Nothing wrong with a science project. Well, I like science. Puzzles. Well, you can't get wrong with a puzzle. Everybody makes puzzles. You can go get those from the dollar store. Games. Well, we play games all the time. I like games. We haven't played much lately, but I like games. We haven't played much with the family lately, but I like them. Arts, crafts. Oh, I like arts and crafts. Outdoor and nature. Whoo, nothing like it. The club says that it will help children learn benevolence. It will help your kids learn benevolence and empathy, critical thinking, and problem solving. So wait a minute, let me get this right. They're going to teach critical thinking and problem solving. 2 things that you're not seeing being taught in the actual public school system, that they're even having this event at after school. Yeah, I said at after school. I did say that. So problem solving and critical thinking is not bad. So why aren't we pushing that in regular schools? Why aren't we seeing that done? Really? Creative expression. Wow, that comes to, oh boy. A lot comes along with that. A lot comes along with the term creative expression, and personal sovereignty. The Satanic Temple is essentially an activist group and think tank with more than a religious institution. Said the program is available at select public schools where good news programs exist. Do you see this? And it is meant to be educationally enriching. Members have no intention of converting children to Satanism. When you already know that there's an adage in the scriptures that say, he who winneth souls is wise. So why wouldn't they want to be wise? Because remember, they use the exact same principles. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Proselytization is not our goal. And we're not interested in converting children to Satanism, the temple says about the program on its website. After-school Satan clubs will focus on free inquiry, rationalism, the scientific, follow the science basis, for which we know what we know about the world around us. That looks like it used to be a grocery store. It says, quote, we prefer to give children an appreciation for the natural wonders surrounding them, not a fear of everlasting otherworldly horrors, close quote. The flyer prompted a response from the district leadership, who empathetically assured parents that no teachers from Jane Addams or any other district teacher is involved. And the flyers were distributed to all students, not distributed to all students. I'm sorry, you guys. Flyers were not distributed to all students. According to a letter from Rachel Savage, who's from the school system, she's a superintendent to the district families. That's what she said to them. She also said that the space rental was not generated by the district and is not affiliated with Jane Addams or the district. A district parent had reached out to the Satanic A district parent had reached out to the Satanic Temple's after-school club and told the group that the elementary school already offered a child evangelism fellowship club and wanted to bring their program to the school to offer the parents a choice of different viewpoints, the superintendent said. 30 flyers were sent to the school from the Satanic Temple and were placed in the school lobbies, as are all flyers for organizations and events at the school that are religious in nature. She further noted that the Board of Education permits community usage of its facilities and approves several agreements with local churches. And here is the flyer. Let's pull that down just a bit so you can see it. That's the flyer. Hey kids, want to have fun after school? Hey kids, let's have fun at After School Satan Club. We got science projects, puzzles, games, arts and crafts and projects, and nature activities. Parents, your child will, here's the sell. Your child will learn benevolence, empathy, critical thinking, problem solving, and creative expression, as well as personal sovereignty. Yeah, it's all fun and games. But you saw the secession, and it happened even before 2015, which was some of the stuff that we were using as our pinpointed start point today. We started at 15 and went to 18, now we're at 2022. Yeah, this is today. This is going on. This is right now. Yeah. Yep. So you see what they've done all while we've been sort of distracted. They've really just like went whole hog. I mean that pun too. To illegally deny their organization or viewpoint to pay to rent our publicly funded institution after school hours subjects the district to a discrimination lawsuit, which we will not win, likely taking thousands upon thousands of taxpayer dollars away from our teachers, our staff, and our classrooms, Savage wrote. So they may as well just lay down and give up. No, how about, here's the sad part. Because this is the rock and this is the hard place. Here's the rock and here is the hard place. The rock is that you would have to allow everybody to do it. The hard place is some champions of parents would do a couple of things. But for those who would still have their children, because it would not be conducive to not have their kids at regular school, in school, I say, don't have none of it. Teach your kids the word at home. Yeah. I'd give it up. I'd be like, okay, right. We don't need to have a Christian club. We don't need any of it. Yeah. Because if it's got to be that it's got to be for everybody across the board, then teach your kids the word at home. Because even with quote unquote Christianity, they're not going to be learning the same exact way that you teach or that you live, because there are so many different strains, as it were. So many different types of Christianity. You've got Baptist, there's so many things that fall under Christianity. So for that, I would say, you know what, just keep it all. Keep it all. Y'all don't need to teach nothing as far as this word is concerned. Keep it all. We got this at the house. So that way I got a little bit more, latitude to say, hey, look here. And I do not want X, Y, or Z being taught here either. I don't need you to teach that. But see, what happened is the church got very complicit and not being on our game. And that's how these things ended up just slipping in the neighborhood, slipping in the community. Hey, Charlie, Judah Queen, what's been going on? Dan Shram. Okay. So that's the deal. These are the things that we're looking at. And we have been, we've been trying to be so politically correct and so polite and, not wanting to offend anybody, not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings. This straight up says, hey kids, let's have fun. So this is, let me tell you something. This right here, when they just go to hey kids first, hey kids is that aisle that the child's eyes can go directly to when you're trying to leave the grocery store, and they hone right in on that bright, gummy bag of goody sugary stuff, just goody sugary stuff. Hey kids, let's have fun. I want to go. Well, parents, don't worry. See the second part? Okay, this is the sales part. I'm teaching y'all something. Hey kids, that's the sugary gummy. And then the parents are like, what? Oh, parents, come on now, it's okay. Your child's going to learn benevolence and empathy, critical thinking, problem solving, all the stuff that you're supposed to be teaching them. Creative expression and personal sovereignty. See, the deal is that the whole indoctrination of any type of school system, the issue with the school systems is that they have a function that is their agenda. Now, even though they're widespread now and schools are everywhere, the original agenda was to retrain whatever you trained your child to think. How you trained your child according to the word to make them into little Enochs, right? How you taught them. Their job was to untie the bow tie. How you tied the bow tie around Bobby's neck and sent him on out to school, they untied that. That's what school is. School is an indoctrination camp. It's a place where they indoctrinate the children to believe the system that they want them to believe, right? Yeah. They want them to believe the math their way. So the only way for a government to make sure that all of its followers, citizens, are in line with what they want to do in the present and in the future is to make sure that their belief system is funneled down the pipeline into the education system. They write the law, they know the law, therefore they understand that even when they offer you what looks like an olive branch to bring in your Christian program, school, after school program, they know that they've written the law in such a way that, blind purple people eater clubs could come. No matter how many people had been eaten by the blind purple people eaters the year before, because they've given it to you, they've got to allow the blind purple people eater clubs to come on campus. So it's amazing how we want to see more from the school systems and want to see more from them. But we don't remember that their top above them is where they get their philosophy. Their purpose is where their philosophy comes from. And so you've got their philosophy. You cannot separate who they are from their philosophy and then the outcome. The children are coming out the way that they're coming up because they're going into an organization that is set up that way, and is set up that way on purpose. If you think about that. So even though we got tax dollars that are rolling and we're seeing this stuff like this and we're getting upset and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing this. How can they do this? Well, we're putting our money and funding it, but they are doing their gig by teaching what they want to be taught so that as they get out of, college or high school, these people are the way they want them to be. Thinking in the mindset of having a job, thinking in the mindset of not ever thinking outside the box, just doing what they're told, walking on this side. That's the reason why you see adults will stand in a long line. I shared this with you guys a while ago. They will stand in a long line at a grocery store while there's just one person standing in a line at another checkout stand just because that person's light is not on. And so what they end up doing is they'll stand over there where there's a long, long line, and then they'll watch the short line where there's nobody because that light is off. It's almost like Pavlov's dog, right? They're only going to be moved by what they think they see. So they've been conditioned and trained to stay in the line and don't ask questions, to stay in the line and think inside the box. Never go outside the box for any resources. You stay in this box. You're born in this box. You live in this box. You have happiness in this box. Everything you need is in this box. And when it's all said and done, you're gonna die in this box. And you'll become carbon. So it'll be the next point of carbon. It'll be carbon. And you know what carbon does. Carbon. Think about that. Because if you've not been worth anything else, they ain't going to stick you in the ground and you're going to be what you're going to be. Okay? I want you guys to think about this because see, these are the things that we kept running around. Oh no, this is terrible. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh no, what they're trying to do. Oh no, they're trying to do this or that. Oh no, they're trying to do this or that. Yeah. How long? What is it that we're doing when we're thinking that we're supposed to receive something from a system and they're taxing us? Think about that. We're supposed to get something out of them. They're taxing us. That means somebody is over somebody. Somebody is the overseer of something. Oh, yeah, they are. Because if you don't give them their taxes, they coming for you. So they're showing you that if you in their system and you in their game, do not expect for these schools to do anything other than what we say. Why? Because we take your tax dollars and we put them in this school system and they teach what the government wants them to learn. They indoctrinate your child the way they want them to be when they get out of this place, when they get out of this joint, which, by the way, brings me to the next topic. As it relates to the joint. Okay? As it relates to the joint. Because the schools right now today look identical to jails. They look identical. I said it. But it's okay because it's all soft. It's all cuddly. It's all normalizing. They're just normalizing. They even changed the word. It's an alternative way of thinking. This isn't sin. This is alternative way of thought. It's alternative. Hey, Stephanie. This is the alternative way to think. So they get your mind set up for your child. And listen, hey, I want to say something. It can be a black child, and guess what? It can be a white child. It doesn't matter. If you're playing in their park, if you are playing in their system, it doesn't matter what color you are, what color your children are. They do not care about that. The system is made that no matter what brain they put in it, they're going to get their desired results. All of the schools right now, even the fancier ones may just have an extra window, but the majority of them look exactly like jails. And over the past 2 years, for the people who had their kids into the school system, that was not all school systems went on the like on the internet to do their work. Some school systems actually had their kids in school, but you know what they did in Alabama, which was the main reason why I said no, they ain't going. They prevented the parents from being able to go into the school to see their children. You know, when my kids were small, that was the one thing that I know I did. I popped up. I went to the school, went to the front office, I checked in, got a visitor's badge, and then I walked into my kids' class, or either I'll peek when they got a certain age, I would peek, my eyeballs would just peek right there through their window. And they could see me. My son, Evander, he would look up and, he would see me, or my daughter would see me. They would see me. But do you know that for the past 2 years, that was not allowed? So the whole thing was a beta test. It was a beta test on so many different levels. But we can't even agree to disagree about certain things just so that we can keep it pushing and get the greater work done. But they had beta tests, and the whole thing was a beta test on so many different levels, on so many different topics. Yes. So many different topics. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of public schools so that y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me get this one. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll show you this one. And then I will also show you another one. I'm going to show you this first. Okay. And I'm not grabbing them by, based on anything special. I'm just pulling them. Now, do you see that? You see that? There's the flag. Right there. There's the flag. Do you see this? This isn't anything special. I'm not choosing anything special. I just pulled up elementary schools, but I want you to take a look at that. And while you're looking at that, I'm going to go over here and do this. This is what I'm going to do. Thank you all for being here and being patient. I want you guys to see this. Okay? I want you to see the outside of this. First of all, I want you to look at this. You see the lack of windows on that picture that you guys are looking at? This is Gwinnett County Jail in Georgia. It has more windows here than the outside of that school. Irregardless of the fact that you may not be able to see the people that are incarcerated behind this glass, this is glass. And what you saw a few seconds ago was not. Do you see that? Bricks. Where are they preparing your children to go? Where are they going? What are they getting them set up for? Where are they sending them? They're teaching your children. So first off, what was this last beta test I just talked about? The fact that you could not get into the campus to even see your children during the last 2 years. Tell you what, I said, give me mine. You could not even get in. They would not let you in. So you can drop them off in the daytime, but you can't get them out. When I was staying in Georgia several years ago, I noticed a letter that they sent home, and I made my voice heard with regards to this one particular point. But if something happened at the campus, they could lock the children down, put them in a bus, take them to a quote unquote safe place where you could not get to them. And I had to teach mine. If something happens, this is what you do. This was at that time. And my grandsons were little. You go here, you run there, I'll be here. If this happens, you run there, you go here, you meet here, you run there, you hide here. And I'll be there then. I did that. Yep. I did that. After I saw that that's what they would do, if you ever hear this, if you ever see this, you run here, you go here, you do that. You guys meet here, I'll meet you here. This is the spot I will meet you in. They were going to put the babies on buses and take them away. And then you would have to wait for them to give all clear for you to get your kids. So you're dealing with the system, and you're dealing with a system that owes you nothing. You're dealing with a system that has no loyalty to you or your children or your grandchildren. They owe you nothing. They owe you zero. Please, I want to say that, because if we get this full picture, and the full picture being, understanding that it all does trickle down, because it starts in the government. The government knows what they want. The powers that be that fund the government, I said that, they know what they want. And then they then disseminate that information through the Department of Education. Department of Education then disseminates it to all states. Then all states decide which of these things that they want to do. If they want to follow along with this, or this, then they all vote on it and then they do it. But it's all garbage. And then each state then, rolls it out. Then each city, each county, each school district. Then you end up with a nice little program coming to your school, coming to a school near you. And then people are passing these to your kids. Nice little plush toys. Nice pretty colors. See, if you try to take one of these from a child, that child could easily argue with you. Give it to them. It's just a toy. This is how you end up with this. This is how you end up having this. This is how you end up with this in your house. It's just a toy. That's how you end up with it, because they soften you. And as you become softened, and as you allow the normalization of sin, this is what you end up with, because you start somewhere. It all starts somewhere, and this all ties together. Every inch of it ties together. We have to understand that just because we follow Yah and just because we follow His word, it doesn't mean that we have to be pushovers. It doesn't mean that we have to be pushovers. It doesn't mean that we have to lay down and take it. That's not what it means. What it means is have the mindset of, I see you, and handle it. Okay? And that's what we do. We use His word. We do what He tells us to do in His word. And we overcome these things. We overcome and we stand still. We put our feet down and we stand still. That's what we do. That's exactly how we handle this. Because the soft, the cuddly, it's just a, pair of shoes. It's just a song. It's just a song. I just listened to the song for the beat. I don't believe the words they put in that song. I just like the beat. It's just a toy. It's just a game. It's just a book. It's just all the soft and the cuddly stuff that normalizes sin. All of it. So what are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? How are we going to get past all of this stuff? What is the way that we go beyond and make sure that we're making a difference in the children's lives that are around us, in our grandchildren's lives, and our, hey, Judah Queen, I love your thumbnail. Yeah, these are these are those times. Now, remember, we just got through talking about the CERN, and we just got through talking of the other day. I shared with you guys, when their schedule was. Yesterday was the day that they were running it, was the day that they've been doing like these little pilot tests, I guess you could say. Ronnie knows the term better than I do, but there's these little bitty tests, they've been doing. You can go and you'll see that they did this much, and this was how much this happened on this day. And then yesterday, this happened on this day, and this is how much. And if you guys are in tune, you can feel differences around you. It's not saying that they've got any power over you, but if you are in tune, you should be able to feel something, and you should be able to intercede based on what you're feeling around you. Yeah, all this stuff goes together. See, They like for us to not know, or like for us to deny things. So that way, all they got to do is just keep doing what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? That's all they got to do. As long as they can make us say, oh, that's just silly. Hey, Charlie. That's all they got to do. Okay? That's all they got to do. All they got to do is just, you're tripping. You're really tripping. And then you're thinking, well, I'm tripping. So you get off your horse as opposed to getting on your soapbox. Get off your horse and get on your soapbox. That's what you do. So I just want to let you guys know that I had to bring this to you because when I saw the fact that not only could you get it, as a plushie toy, Baphomet, and I don't know, Ronnie, I know you're probably not able to come on, but we've got a few more minutes here, and I know that teaching on Baphomet is not your thing, but I do think that people need to understand this, and I will say this. There are spirits that have jurisdictions. There are spirits and entities and things of that nature, and they each have an area that they're supposed to rock, as it were. They have a specific task, a specific job, and unlike us, who just don't stick to what we need to, they stick to what they do. And each of them have something that they are responsible for. This cat is basically, this is all adults here today. It's more of a hermaphrodite. It's got breasts, it's got a belly, that's got a womb, it's got both genitalia, it's got everything. I said it. Yeah. It's got everything. And so when we consider, hey Betty R, I didn't see you today. So when we consider what it has, then we know what it's there to teach. And you give this little plushie to a baby. Okay? You see what Ronnie just said? Side note, it is on schedule, up and running, and fully operational right now, indoctrinating the children for what they are bringing forth. Ronnie and I have been keeping our eyes on them. We've been literally on their site, watching and looking. So what we've got to do is we've got to get our heads out of the sand. Okay? We've got to continue to walk in love. Walk in love, because these things are only attached to darkness. Walk in love. Be kind. Walk in love. It's not easy, but you got to do it. Right, Matrix? We got to do it. Rachel Van Ziel. Approximately 20 years ago, my county combined all 3 schools into one very large brand new school, which looks like a jail. Many folks weren't happy, as some kids were then bused an hour and a half away each way. Yeah. Because the school, so Marty, so you see what I was talking about, how it is really a part of their plan, right? It showed, they're telling you who they are and what they're doing, right? If the school looks exactly like a private prison, and you find that, like in Georgia, there are the same cats that make the school actually own the prison, the private prisons. They're using the same architect. They're telling you what they're doing. So don't expect for that system, right? Don't expect for that system to produce anything that is godly. It's not their job. I feel like just shaking us by our shoulders. It's not their job. It's not their job. It's not their job. And I think the misnomer is because we give them our tax dollars, we believe they owe us something. No, they just got over. They just straight gaffled us. Stephanie, see what's going on. They just gaffled us. That's all. You does anybody remember the gaffling? You just get gaffled. You're like, I just feel like I got gaffled. I went in there and all I got was one bag, and 2 things was in the bag, and I spent $130. I just feel like I got gaffled. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Now I'm seeing more reasons why they may have combined all 3 high schools into one to keep a closer eye on that state indoctrinated plan. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. As long as we are understanding that that system owes us nothing, that even though we're giving them our money, we're giving them our money because this is a shakedown. Put it in street terms and we're going to be all right. Put it in street terms and we going to be all right. You're going to get it. You're going to get it together. You're going to get it together today. Let me help you get it together. Understand that you are a part of a shakedown. And in a shakedown, they're going to offer you security. So they're going to watch your bagel shop. They're going to watch your donut shop. They're going to watch your butcher shop. They're going to watch your barber shop. They're going to let you get a pass. Ain't nobody going to come break in on you. They're going to tell all day thugs not to come and bother you. Why? Because every quarter they do a shakedown. And they come to your joint and they take money from you and say, okay, we got you. We got you, fam. We're going to protect you. Don't worry. No problem. We got you. So they walking out your place, counting the dollars that you just gave them to protect you, because you just got to have day protection. Massa got to protect you. So you paid them. Now all of a sudden stuff start going opposite of your core, and you're like, yo, wait a minute, didn't I just give you some money? Why aren't you doing X? Why aren't you doing Y? Why aren't you doing Z? This is a shakedown. They don't owe you jack. They just shook you. They just took you. They're doing what they're supposed to do. It's our understanding of what this is that's awry. That's the problem. It's our understanding of what this is that is awry. If we do not understand what it is, then of course we're going to be looking for something else. We're going to be looking for something else. You know what? I think that every principles are so weird to me because they work. They're interchangeable because the principle works no matter what circumstance it is, no matter what situation, no matter who it is, no matter if it's male-female relationship, no matter whether it's employee-employer relationship. It's the same thing. I say this all the time. A dude can come to a lady and tell her exactly what he wants, but because we don't think, we think that we can change the person's mind. So we walk into a relationship. A cat will tell you, I don't want a relationship, but we can still go out and hang out. You misconstrue time for a relationship. So you misconstrue giving your money as a relationship where you have a say. You do not have a say. You just got gaffled. That's all. You just got punked. You just got pimped, played, hustled. You just got jacked. That's all. So if you don't want to do that, then don't get yourself in their crosshairs. And you won't have to deal with seeing the Satan club come to your kid's class. You don't have to worry about that coming to your school. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff. You don't have to have the school district now defending. This is what the school said. To illegally deny their organization's viewpoints, to pay to rent our publicly funded institution after school hours subjects the district to a discrimination lawsuit, which we will not win. They know they won't win because they wrote the laws. Likely taking thousands upon thousands, here comes the sympathy piece, of taxpayer dollars away from our teachers, staff, and classroom, Savage wrote. The Satanic Temple says that it views Satan as a mythical figure representing individual freedom. A mythical character, a mythical figure representing individual freedom, according to its website. Satanists should actively work to hone critical thinking and exercise reasonable agnosticism in all things. the temple says, our beliefs must be malleable to the best current scientific understanding of the material world, never the reverse. You see what they teaching? You see what they talking? Huh? That ain't by accident. That didn't just happen. Okay? That's not just by accident. This right here, this is not by accident. None of this is by accident. It's not. The fact that this school looks just like this picture right here, but this has more windows than the school. Look at that. I want to show you the outside. Look at that. That's the outside of a jail. Kids' school. Jail. Huh? You cannot expect anything out of a system that wants to put your children in a totally different light than you raised them in. The only way for you to get over all of this stuff is to remove yourself completely from Babylon. Come out of her. Come out of her. What I'm doing is shaking you by your shoulders just so that you and myself and everybody listening now and in the replay realize that coming out of her literally is multifaceted. It's not just a quick change of the mind. It's not just a quick don't talk to these type of people, go over here and hang out with these kind of people. It's not about just doing the feast days. It's about understanding that we completely pull ourselves up out of the entire system. You must shake the entire foundation. You must uproot. You cannot leave anything. Nothing. You got to get completely out of it. You cannot hold your hand on one side and put the other hand in the other side and think that you can walk in both directions. You cannot do that. You cannot put one hand over here and then one hand over there and think that the body's going to go in both directions. You will split yourself in two. You got to get your eyes set and come out of the entire thing. You got to come out of the entire thing. You ain't gonna make it. You're not fooling anyone. That's the sad thing. We're not joking. We're not kidding anybody. We think that we can do it, but we can't. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for spending the last hour with me. I got out to a corny start, but I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are the best. The best. Thank you to Marty. Thank you to Matrix. Charlie Sigler. Jerry, hi. Jerry Mo, hi. I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us today. I hope that something has been said to prompt you to think a little outside the box. I believe that once you start walking in this and you start getting a little bolder and bolder, you'll find that you deal with less and less. And even though maybe things won't change immediately in one day, that possibly something's been said today that'll help you get a little bit stronger and stronger every day so that you can stand up, so that you don't have to have any fear and saying, you know what, I'm sorry, that's not for me. Because see, when you stand up for Yah, when you stand up for truth, when you stand up for the word, he ennobles you with power from up on high. It's that dunamis power. It's that dunamis power. And you get boldness and you begin to stand a little more erect and say what it is you'll deal with and what you won't deal with. Remember, it's all been a beta test anyway. Every inch of it's all been a test over the last 2 years. There's nothing that they could have done to you, because if they could have done it, baby, they would have. But I'm going to tell you about that covering that's over you. The difference that they know they can't touch. They can shake you a little bit. They can maybe come by and kick the outside of your house, or maybe they can rattle your cage a little bit. They can do it, all that stuff, but they can't touch you. And they know that. And I'm telling you now you know. Stand for the word. Try it every day. We may miss it, but we got to pick up the next day and get it right. Do not allow yourself to stay down when something happens, or to beat yourself up after that. Shake that off. Ask for forgiveness. Ask the person, whomever it is that you may have had a problem with, to forgive you. Shake it off. Get back in that word and keep in the race. Stay in the race. It's all about finishing. Because the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to the one who endures until the end. The funny thing about this is you can walk right in 15 minutes before the race is done and join the race and win. Somebody said, well, why did they just get to come in? I've been in this race for all this time. This person came in the last 15 minutes and they won, right? Because the race, don't matter how long you've been at the race, is not given to the swift, nor to the strong, but to the one who endures to the end. So if somebody, you just came in and you just got in this, you got the chance to win too. You got the chance to win too. You a Gentile? You got the chance to win too. Cleave. Yeah, that part. I want to thank each and every one of you for being with me today. Remember, every time you come to one of the Felicia Lockhart Group publications, we always say one important thing, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. I want you to take care of yourselves first, and then I want you to take care of everybody else around you. And until we see each other again, please, please continue, my brother, my sister, to be blessed. Take care.
Lockhart Perspective.